Welcome back to you, baby dolls. Fancy seeing you here. This is a Wojak who is going to get punished. Bitmexed. A lot of people are going to lose their accounts on leverage in the next 6 months. It will be the first round of people who are very naughty little squirrels. We told them, don't be so naughty. Put your pants on. We can see your willy. We can see your nuts. You got to hide your nuts in the tree. Leverage is going to be how everyone gets wrecked. Why? Well, before everyone gets destroyed on the low leverage, they make money. It entices them. It traps them. Everybody's been wrecked at some point in their lives because of leverage. How do I know this? Well, I lived it. I lived it every day and I could see it forming and it did form and I can remember, I can tell you so many stories. Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart. During this time, now I have the nice indicators here for you. Okay, I have the nice indicators here for you to see it like this, but it didn't look like this because when we're looking at it, I mean, I'm going to remove these indicators here just to share with you. No one knew what was going on. It was just, you just see this chart. You're like, what the hell is this? Okay, this is just Bitcoin. This is what it looked like, okay? So what it looked like. But as we walk, see this path here, what I'm circling around? This is important because during that time, there were people who, they saw the meme of hodling. They saw it. They're like, okay, there's a meme that hodl and it's all fun, okay? But all they saw was everything going down for over 1 year. Then when we had a zip up, guess what happens? Because we went so euphoric so quick, we just kept going down for another long time again. And I know the candles don't mean much, but let's zoom in here. This is September. Okay, this is September this year. There is a CME gap. I still remember it at $9,600. You see this right here, right 9,600. Now, every single CME gap has been closed. Every single one. So when we went up and we had DeFi season, everybody believed we're going to close the CME gap, come back in the range, and that's it, over. But we stopped and we kept going up. I still remember this. Now, a lot of people, this was just the very end of the pain for everyone because many people lost their whole accounts in this zone. And I remember clear as day, people messaging me, telling me, Simon, you're a scammer. You're trash. Diamond Hands is garbage. Now, they were saying it in public chat rooms, and I understand why. It's because everything's been going down. But you really need thick balls in this game, friends. You need really thick, multi-layered balls. Because how is it, can you see 10,000 fingers without your consent pointing at you, feeling you up, telling you that you're wrong? And here you are going, oh my God, I know in social situations in life, if 1,000 people are telling you what you're doing is wrong, most of the time what they do, it's right. It's like, hey, you know, you can't steal from people. You can't go abuse people. You know, you can't do all these bad things, okay? You can't go cheat, for example. See, when it comes to markets, it's a game, okay? See, real life's a game, but there's different ways to play the game. But in the markets, everybody's trying to take money from each other, all right? Because in real life, it's not like people are always trying to take something from you and friends and family. They might be looking after you. For example, if you haven't had a shower in like 2 weeks and you have like really smelly BO, it's not like people are saying like, oh, I better tell this person the wrong information because he's trying to take all the hot single ladies from me. So I better tell him that he stinks when he doesn't. You know what I mean? You don't get this in markets. You get people actually trying to take you for everything you got. So they could be feeding you wrong information. And the most amazing thing about markets is people are looking at themselves, watching a losing record, but then still believing that what they're doing is right. That's the important part. And as well, there's a lot of time frame differences here, which is super important because, you know, if you've been going down in your portfolio for 2.5 years, doesn't mean you're losing. What if it snaps back? You know, are you only meant to enter stuff on the way up, on the trajectory up, right? Are you? Because it's not so easy. You know what happens, right? As soon as you enter, it goes down. What's the top of a range? You only see the top of a range when it's formed already. You have no idea what's going on. So, for example, look at this. I'll show you this chart. Look at this Bitcoin chart, right? Many people will bought Bitcoin at 10K. They go, look at this. It's clearly going up. Next stop's 20K. How do you think they felt when Bitcoin collapses back down to 3,800 here? They realize, oh my gosh, I thought I was buying the staircase to heaven, but no, it actually rolled over and destroyed me. You see, trying to do that game is not going to get you anywhere. You got to play the long-term one. And that's how I know people will definitely lose their accounts on leverage in the next 6 months, because they're going to be saying, no, this is the top of the range, and they're not going to get it right, and they're going to be playing around. And what they're going to do is, they're going to miss the first part of the move. So especially when it came with Bitcoin, for example, I noticed this big part as well. So people who, when it started going up, guess what happened, friends? When it started going up, you think people got long? Not everybody got long. I know people got short and lost their whole account. Not kidding. Literally blew their whole account up there. I know you're like, oh, wow, because it went up, they're silly. But how do you know that, man? Because guess what? I know people who blew their whole account getting long here. Okay? They literally blew their whole account. People got short, made a lot. This short-term leverage stuff, it's a game, man. If you're going to be in the top 5%, good on you. But I know 19 out of 20 people aren't. Now, this next 6 months, it's going to be even more dangerous than you think to the upside. Why? Because there's going to be moves that just make no sense. Okay? They make no sense to me and you. I'm just a peanut brain, okay? I'm a little peanut brain. This is actually me. Here's my little peanut in my little brain, okay? I'm a little peanut brain. And let me tell you something. Markets price in the future. You know this. Markets always price in the future. There are insiders who control the narrative. Oh, golly gee, I wonder who was buying on the FTX collapse. Gee, surely it wasn't going to be the insiders, the bug eater overlords who control the future narrative. Surely it wasn't them. Of course it's them. All right, but you can see them in the price action. You don't have to know who's buying or the reason they are buying. You don't need to know that. But that's what everybody focuses on. They go, oh, who's selling? Who's buying? What are they buying for? That's what all these humans, what we do. But that's not the way to win. The way to win is to think, okay, is it weak or is it strong? That's it. Okay, very neutral. Now, as a peanut brain, I can tell you, the move's coming. There's going to be no warning. Just like, hey, why are we going up? And then we describe it again. And then people are going to be like, okay, there wasn't that many good news. I think we've gone up. I've missed a move. Let me try to get short. People are going to do this. They're going to wreck themselves, okay? It's 100% going to happen. It happens every single time, because every single time I go, oh, surely people have learned the lesson. No, they haven't. There are people who have not been accumulating our favorite bags like PulseX, Hex, Chaining. People just aren't accumulating anything at all, and they're just going to see these things go up, and they're going to be like, okay, I've missed the first half of the move. Let me get the final half of the move on leverage. But they usually end up buying a top, and they open Pandora's box for themselves. They're not able to make it back because it starts a process that they can't stop. Nobody ever does is like one little trade and then stops. They always continue. And this is the type of bullish sentiment that we're going to see. So I took this from another gentleman. Look at this. I mentioned when the candles are green, people don't even blink before they buy. They don't even blink. Let's read this chart. So this is a friend. So a person, he showed the Wyckoff accumulation, and he's talking about Chainlink, right? He goes, look, many people don't make it because they time the bottom and the top. We need the middle source. Grow your balls and effing buy. And this dude literally just goes and buys $14,500 of Chainlink just right there without even blinking. He goes, okay, sweet. Looks like it's going up, but why? This person, God bless their heart, probably looked at the last 6 daily candles of Chainlink and just starts going up. They go, oh, wait a minute. It's had a weekly green, 2 weeks in a row green. Let me get in. You see, got a question here from Mr. Tesco God saying, how do market makers manipulate the market? Well, all they do is in a nutshell, okay, this is just very, very clean in a nutshell, because you can go on for hours and hours on this. What they do is they paint a range, okay? They're the ones who paint a range. And so if they paint the range, let's say this price is 1 and this price is 2, okay? It goes from $1 to $2, $1 to $2. They're the ones driving it up, and they're the ones who stop it, okay? Now, they know based off their statistical evidence and they're like the volume, they can get a good grip of like, okay, how much of that volume was us and how much did we need to fight big people on the way up or big people on the way down? They know this. They can calculate this themselves, okay? They don't have all the information there, but they can use statistical analysis to get there. So they paint the range. Now, when we get back to the top of this range here, they know that if it pushes up, let's say it goes to price like 4 up here, okay? 4, then back to 2. They know how much of that range is them. You understand? So when they mark it up here and they do this, guess what? There are retailers who are buying the tops here because you all love buying the tops, right? You all love buying this breakout. That's a breakout. And then they know that when they're selling, okay, I'm going to do down arrows, they are getting out on people who are specifically playing that range because it broke this $2 range. It broke the $2 price. You see? So effectively, they make a range, and then when they break it themselves, they know the volume up here. Then they know, oh, we were the only people who bought it up here, and then they're the ones exiting. So then when it's finally ready to be done and the buyers run out, it comes back in the middle of the range. Doesn't this look like exactly like a Wyckoff distribution, right? And it also happens on the opposite side as well. So they'll, like market makers, what they'll do is that they know the range, they'll send it through with everyone else or the big whales, and then they can accumulate here. And guess what retailers are doing, friends? Retailers are selling, right? Retailers are selling. What are they doing in PulseX? Now, I'm not saying there's like these big market makers, but everybody does this, okay? This is what happens. Who's selling PulseX? You saw that number 8 whale had a $10 million. He's selling it down here. You see this? Down, down, down. We come down in the range. They sell. When they're finally done, we go back in the middle of the range. Okay, we're done. This whole zone was accumulation. You see that? Now you get to see the picture. So they basically, in a nutshell, they make ranges and then they break them. Because when they break them, they know it was them. So they know, okay, the excess is everybody besides us. And then they're like, okay, this is all the money we can grab before we send it the other way. And by the way, there's not just like one market maker. There's everybody trying to do it. So it's not like, oh, there's one evil person. There are big giant players who do this, by the way, and they're probably competing with each other too. Speaking of being bearish, DataDash is a friend of the channel. Okay, confirmed friend of the channel. Just want you to know. I started posting about DataDash, and then I noticed GCR started posting about DataDash. It's a funny joke. It was kind of funny. Now, Mr. DataDash has been bearish on crypto for 18 months in a row. And I literally, I'm not making this up. I had not checked if he's still bearish in the past few months. And I said, I'm going to do so and report in the next post below. I go to his channel, Mr. DataDash, and his first video, the Bitcoin and crypto storm. Don't get caught off guard. So it was a bearish video again. Now, why is that? Look, I understand why it's like this. It's because the pain of holding in the last cycle is huge, friends. Like, I know this going down, they just look like some green, some red candles going down, but there's a lot of pain and weight behind these. And people have learned, they're like, as you get older and mature, you're like, look, man, there's no glory in being a speculator, okay, to other people. There's no glory in guessing, okay? The glory, it's much easier to just describe the monthly candles. It's much easier to do that. Now, obviously, with Mr. DataDash here, it's not exactly the monthly candles, because we had some green here and he was still bearish, right? But he might be even looking like big time ones. He might be even looking at a 6-month one, for example, right? Not that they specifically do this, but you can see, right? You see like, okay, see, look, the 6-month candle's red. I'm going to stay red, right? So it's red here, red here. The green candle appeared for the 6-month chart. He's like, I don't believe it. Okay, it's red again. See, I was right. So it depends on the time frame they're looking at, but people would rather, this is what everybody does in YouTube world. By the way, friends, like, subscribe, press the belly button. I appreciate every single one of you. Shock that algorithm. This is what everybody does in the YouTube world, and like Forex and stocks. They just describe, as I made all the videos to tell you, they describe the monthly candle color or the weekly candle color. They're like, it's red, therefore, look at all the bad news. Oh, it's green. Look at all the good news. That's what they're doing. But that's not buying low, selling high. You're just describing what's going on, So that's why you're never going to get true, juicy alpha from these channels, ever. It's because 99% of people want to join the herd. And that includes presenting the information like this. So that's why I want to make sure that you always remain my friend. Davey James, bullish on oxycortisone. We do love and appreciate every single one of you, friends. Please make sure you stay safe out there, because the green candles are going to be fierce. Man, you mess with the bull, you're going to get the horns. Catch you in the next one.